In 1975, Pepsi ran a campaign called the Pepsi Challenge. The premise was simple: blind taste tests in shopping malls across America, 2 unmarked cups, and the results showed that when people did not know which brand they were drinking, they consistently chose Pepsi. The sweeter formula won in the controlled environment. It won in the data. It did not win at the cash register. Coke maintained its dominance for the next 50 years and counting. And the Pepsi Challenge became a case study in the difference between winning the test and winning the market. The motor oil version of that story has been playing out for the better part of 2 decades, and the brands are Pennzoil and Mobil 1. Mobil 1 became the default answer to the premium synthetic question before most consumers knew what a synthetic motor oil was. The brand entered the American market in the 1970s as one of the first commercially available full synthetic motor oils, and it embedded itself in the performance category through decades of motorsport association and the kind of shelf placement that comes from being the first recognized name in a product category. When a non-enthusiast walks into an auto parts store and wants to buy the best oil on the shelf without doing research, the answer is Mobil 1. That is not a technical conclusion. It is a market position built over half a century. Coke does not win because it is sweeter. Coke wins because it was already in your hand before you picked up the cup. Pennzoil's equivalent of the Pepsi Challenge is the gas-to-liquid base stock campaign. Born from natural gas is not a slogan someone wrote in a marketing meeting to sound impressive. The chemistry behind it is real. Shell's Pearl plant in Qatar converts natural gas into base oil through a Fischer-Tropsch synthesis process, producing an extremely pure hydrocarbon chain with properties that standard Group 3 hydrocracked petroleum cannot match on certain metrics. The Noack volatility number on Pennzoil Ultra Platinum sits below what many Group 4 polyalpha olefin synthetics achieve. Noack measures how much of the oil evaporates at high temperature, and a low number means more oil stays in the crankcase rather than burning off through the positive crankcase ventilation system and contributing to oil consumption. On that specific metric, Pennzoil Ultra Platinum wins the blind test. Pennzoil made the marketing decision to run directly at Mobil 1, including advertising claims about piston cleanliness that positioned Ultra Platinum as the superior choice for deposit control. The claims were not empty. Standardized engine tests measuring piston deposits showed Pennzoil Ultra Platinum performing well in that category, and the gas-to-liquid base stock's naturally clean molecular structure contributes to that result. These are real advantages on real tests. The Pepsi Challenge had real results too. People really did prefer the taste when they could not see the label. The racing credibility play follows the same Cola Wars pattern. Pepsi went after youth culture and pop icons, broad audiences, aspirational energy. Coke responded by owning heritage and the kind of prestige that does not need to introduce itself. Pennzoil built its motorsport identity in NASCAR, where the yellow car became one of the most recognized paint schemes in the history of the sport. The Pennzoil name on oval tracks, visible in every camera shot, tied to American racing in the category where the largest live attendance in North American motorsport lives. That is a wide, accessible audience, and Pennzoil worked it for decades. Mobil 1 went the other direction. The brand aligned with Formula 1, specifically with the dominant technical programs that win in the engineering category rather than the crowd size category. The Mercedes-AMG partnership during the hybrid turbo era, the most sustained run of constructor dominance in the modern history of the sport. Coke sponsors the Olympics. Mobil 1 sponsors the team that wins championships back-to-back. The marketing alignment mirrors the product philosophy. Pennzoil chases broad visibility in the category where most drivers live. Mobil 1 chases technical prestige in the category that signals engineering supremacy. Both are valid strategies. Both have held their respective positions for the better part of 2 decades, and neither has moved the other off its footing. What Mobil 1 extended performance carries that Pennzoil Ultra Platinum does not is the base stock architecture for genuine extended drain intervals. Polyalpha olefin is a Group 4 synthetic molecular chain, engineered rather than refined. And its resistance to viscosity shear under sustained mechanical load is different from what even a high-quality gas-to-liquid chain delivers over a long drain. Alkylated naphthalene, the Group 5 additive blended into Mobil 1 Extended Performance's base stock, solves polyalpha olefins' natural solvency limitations and improves oxidation stability across extended intervals. That combination is what sits behind an advertised 20,000-mile drain interval. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum was not designed around that interval. It was designed to deliver clean, low-volatility protection at standard to moderately extended change intervals, and it does that with a genuinely excellent formula. The Pepsi formula is good. It just was not designed to sit in a cup for 20,000 miles. The part of the analogy that breaks down is the implication that Pennzoil is outclassed. Pepsi is not a lesser product. It is a different formulation philosophy that wins in contexts where its specific strengths are relevant. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum, in an engine that sees standard 5,000 to 7,000 mile drain intervals, in a vehicle driven by someone who prioritizes deposit control, low volatility, and cold start performance, is the right call. The same way Pepsi is the right call if you prefer a sweeter flavor profile and are not brand loyal. The market position does not reflect the engineering merit. It reflects which name was embedded in the consumer default before the comparison was even a conversation. Shell is the world's largest lubricant manufacturer. Pennzoil is a Shell product. The engineering and production resources behind that formula are not small. The fact that Mobil 1 sits as the default premium reference point, while a Shell product with a genuinely differentiated base stock chemistry competes for second position, is exactly the structure of the cola wars. Pepsi is backed by one of the largest food and beverage companies in the world. It still gets called the Pepsi of Coke. The buyer who reaches for Mobil 1 without researching the technical data is not making a bad decision. The buyer who reaches for Pennzoil Ultra Platinum because they looked at the Noack number and the piston deposit results is also not making a bad decision. They are making a Pepsi decision. A real product, real chemistry, a genuine performance case to make, operating inside a market perception that was already set before they walked into the store.